Hey, Mr. Patterson here with Bearded Debate. Today we're going to be talking about how to complete a 2AR speech like a beast. Here's the thing. We're going to start out with the goal of this. The goal is to cover every argument in the round and explain why you are winning and what the judge should vote on and how to vote. Now here's the thing. You should do this for every kind of paradigm. This speech should be eloquent. It should be very well spoken and persuasive. This speech, for the lay judge, for the lay paradigm, it should cover all of the stock issues in the round and why you're winning on each of those stock issues and talk about and communicate why it flows to the affirmative. For the stock issues paradigm, you should do this for a policymaker judge by doing impact calculus or weighing the round in some way so that you can show why your advantages are outweighing the disadvantages, or how the disadvantages don't stand. Your advantages stand in the round, and that you can get solvency over those advantages. That said, you should apply voting to each of those and talk about why you're winning on each of those arguments. That's like the main thing that you need to do in the 2AR, is explaining why your team is winning. Here's the deal. You're going to start out by giving a roadmap, just like in every speech. Off case, on case, straight down the flow. Honestly, I don't know why we still do those kinds of roadmaps. Everybody knows what the flow is going to be. Seems like a waste of time. Moving on. Topicality. How can you make this interesting? This is going to be your first off-case argument. You've got to cover topicality first. It's an a priori issue, blah, blah, blah. You've heard that all the time. Don't just cover the shell. The judge has heard the shell the entire round. They've heard the violation, the definition, standard, the voter, and whatever is being debated about. What you really need to do is talk about how this topicality creates fair and predictable limits, that your case is obviously topical. This year's case, restorative justice, dealing with student discipline, obviously regulating student discipline across the United States for primary and secondary education, is very topical. You really don't need to spend much more time on this besides explaining to the judge that you are clearly topical and having some cool analogy to rope them in and explain why this creates fair and predictable limits. After that, you need to focus on the disad, the other off-case argument. You need to take out the link. If possible, turn the disad into an advantage. Talk about the impact or the brink, whatever it is that you're debating, and reply to any arguments that were made by the 2 in R. Because your 1 AR should have already replied to the disad in the first place. The 2 in R is replying to them, and now it's your time to reply and really strengthen that argument. Then what you need to do is cover the stock issues. So you need to go down the flow from harms, inherency, solvency. And this will look something like, Judge, these are the harms arguments brought on the round. Or maybe they didn't attack our arms. This should flow affirmative. Inherency, they said this, and this. We replied with this, and here's why this argument is better. This should flow affirmative. Solvency, our solvency stands because of X, Y, or Z. Solvency should flow affirmative. Those are all different ways that each one of those can be addressed. So, if they didn't attack it, obviously still state that stock issue flows your direction. If they said something and you had a reply, make sure you do the they said this and we say this, and this is why our argument is better. And then you can also say our solvency or whatever argument stands because of X, Y, or Z. Those are different ways to address or talk about those stock issues. But the main thing is, after each of these stock issues, you should say, Judge, I believe this stock issue flows affirmative. That way they know that you're winning that argument and you're explaining why and how you're winning that argument. The next thing is you should weigh the round for a policymaker judge. So you've already talked about your disadvantages. Here's your opportunity to talk about your advantages, to talk about why your advantages still stand in the round, why you're still solving for them, or why you're still solving and being able to accrue or create these advantages in society. And then you're going to weigh them versus the disadvantages. And you're probably going to say, look, Judge, if you believe that we defeated their disad, it's obvious that the round would favor the affirmative advantages. If you believe we defeated their disad, then This is why our advantages out, or if you believe we didn't defeat their disad, then this is why our advantages outweigh the disads. So you need to create that compare and contrast to show that, look, these advantages create such a benefit for society that even if you buy their disadvantage and you think it still stands in the round, this is why we should still win when you compare the two. Maybe it's just something that could be a timing issue that, hey, yours happens first before theirs, and that creates a significant benefit in society for you that could change the tide of this direction and maybe help us in the long run. Then here's the biggest part. Whatever time you have left, after you've covered your off case, your stock issues, and you've weighed the round, showing the judge why you're winning, you need to sell the case. You need to show that you really believe in the case. You need to show that you think this will actually benefit America or help people across the entire United States. And maybe if the topic includes a foreign country, that foreign country. And then you need to talk about how this will help. I mean, that's the main thing. You need to act like you believe in it, talk about it as though you're believing it, and sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it. You need to encourage the judge to vote for you, but it's more important that you look like you are really more interested in this case and that you care about it and that it's going to have benefit to society more than you want the case to win in the debate. And honestly, I think that's a big selling point for judges. If you care so much about it that you're like, look, judge, I really do encourage you to research this once you're out of this debate. Not because we want to win this debate round, which we do, but we want you to know about this issue. We want you to care about this as well, just like we do. And we hope that you advocate for this outside of this debate round. If you do something like that, boom, that really sells to the judge. I'll sit back and go, they actually seem like they care about this. I think that's an important thing. And if you really do care about this, you can make significant differences in the world and in debate. And I hope that you really get a great opportunity to practice your advocacy skills right here, where you can talk about things that you love, or even if you don't love it, fake it till you make it.